treat people kindly.
Yeah.
People, you know, the saying is people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And I think it's sometimes, especially in the city, it's easy to say the right things and go to the right happy hours. But sometimes just a call to a friend that you think, hey, they just might want to talk. And just really remember that having integrity, treating people well, and trusting God, you know, you're doing the right thing. You're treating people the way that you want to be treated with the golden rule, and you're trusting God. And no matter what comes your way, you know that you're making the right decisions and you're moving in the right direction.
Welcome back to Problematic Women, where it's not wrong to be right. I'm Virginia Allen.
I'm Morgan.
And I'm Lauren Evans.
And Lauren, it's so good to have you back in studio.
It's so great to be back.
I think it's been almost a year since we pulled you in on a whim. We're like, Lauren,
I'm sure it was really planned out. It definitely wasn't like 15 minutes before, hey,
we need someone.
knock on the office door.
I need a warm body. And I was like, I'll do it.
But for those of you that have not been long time listeners of Problematic Women, Lauren was part of the founding of the show.
Wow.
So, Lauren, it's great.
27 years ago, I think. At least it feels like.
It feels like that back when you were 3.
Yes.
Just really started young. Well, it's awesome to have you. This is a really historic episode, and so that's one of the many reasons why we wanted you on today to be a part of this show. And we all kind of work in the news journalism space. They talk a lot about don't bury the lead in news. So I don't want to bury the lead because I have teased that there is a big announcement on today's show, hence the champagne. And there is indeed sort of a 2-part big announcement, but super honored and excited that I've actually been given the opportunity to go join the Trump administration, which is kind of wild and crazy.
So excited for you.
So it feels very bittersweet after 8 years working for first the Heritage Foundation for 2 and then the Daily Signal for 6 years. Like, so honored to be a part of this organization and being a part of this podcast for 6 years, which is incredible.
That's crazy.
And hosting this show, like, honor of a lifetime. So just really, really honored. I'll be over at HHS and just excited to join that team, and feels like a door that the Lord really obviously opened in a really, really beautiful way.
New beginnings.
New beginnings.
And serving your country in that way.
Serving your country. Like, such an honor and so bittersweet to be departing from here. And for our audience, obviously, Elise just left to go to DHS about a month ago. And Morgan?
I'm going to have a baby any day now, any second now. Who knows, my water might break in
on
this
air.
episode. Just kidding. We don't want that to happen yet. My mom's not in town yet.
Especially on these nice new white chairs.
Please no. But which is obviously very exciting. And I'm super excited for this new chapter in my life. But we'll see what's to come next.
Yeah, just a lot of big switches. And Lauren, several years ago, you stepped back from hosting the show because you got a promotion here at the Heritage Foundation that made your life even more wild and crazy than it already was.
Fun. Every day is fun.
Yes. So you're doing incredible work with your team. So many awesome products out of Heritage Video Digital. But it has been a little bit of a perfect storm, timing-wise, in a way. So
why am I nervous for you to say this?
Brace yourself.
But just given all of the shifting and changing, Problematic Women is a show that we always want to make sure we're doing with excellence, and we have the best people. And just given this much shifting right now, we've made the incredibly hard decision for Problematic Women to take a hiatus, sabbatical. Morgan was the word that you used. I like that word.
Sabbatical.
So Problematic Women is going on sabbatical after, I've been saying 10 years. In my heart, it will always be 10. I guess it's more like 9.5-ish, 9, give or take.
10 years.
Once you hit 8, you can just round up to 10.
I do remember when you were 28, started to tell everyone that you were 30. And I was like, Lauren, you're not 30.
You don't round up with 8.
Oh, I do.
It's just so early on. It's like, Lauren, you're not 30.
But that was like, quite a few years ago, and I still tell people I'm like 30. So it works both ways.
That's true. That's true. You can go backwards. But yeah, just my goodness, such a hard decision. And we're excited to see for the future that, as there are amazing voices that come into the Daily Signal, return to the Daily Signal, to maybe see a new iteration of Problematic Women in the future. but we'll
That's
see
why it's not
happens.
goodbye forever.
Not
I
forever.
honestly think that in the future there's space for the show to reignite with more other influential female voices. I mean, we've seen in the last 10 years, gosh, before I was even involved, just within the last year and a half, when I came on for the first time as a guest, and Virginia was like, hey, come on the show. And now here we are filming every week. But yeah, it's like we've seen just so many incredible women from the beginning all the way to now that I'm like, there's got to be others out there. Well, there is others out there right now.
Well, and we want to do that too. We want to do a little bit of retrospective looking back.
Retroflective.
I like that.
Cool new word.
New word.
Retroflective.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
Maybe that's the episode title. Problematic Women, the Retroflective.
They're so cool. But Lauren, Morgan and I were saying for some of our like newer listeners, they might not know some of the like OG origins of PW. So take us back to 2017.
Yeah, it was, we were coming off of the election, which everyone just thought Hillary was going to win. Mm-hmm. So the left had kind of already started celebrating, thinking about the human, what's her name? Huma Abedin, like those kind of women were going to come in the White House. And Trump won. It flipped the whole world on its head. And
what do we do now?
And so now Trump started elevating these women like Kellyanne Conway and Melania and Ivanka. And there was an article written, said, what do we do with all these problematic women? Talking about these women who they would normally celebrate, who have great careers, who are really impressive based on their credibility and what they've done. But they couldn't like them because they were on the right. So Kelsey Bowler, who we're going to talk a lot about on this show, dear friend, she saw this article and just got spun up, excited. And so we were on a plane. I'm trying to remember where we were going to, but we were on a plane, and she's writing this article, and we're just talking. And remember back then, too, Facebook Live was all the rage.
Ages ago.
Ages and ages.
funny.
I mean, I think we were doing like 200 Facebook Lives a year or something wild.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, podcasting was...
It was still new.
Yeah,
Podcasting
new.
was new. It wasn't as popular.
But we had mics and we had cameras and we just kind of were getting excited talking about it. And next thing you knew, we had a show. We filmed the first episode right here where we're sitting with Genevieve Wood and Kelsey Bowler. The set looks a little different. The cameras are a little better. But it was always just about these women who are exceptional, who understand what the real truth is and what the important truth is, and giving them a platform, giving them, to those who have listened to the show. Really, we wanted to make you feel like you weren't alone. We know a lot of women might be out on college campuses. It's wild to think the women who were on college campuses when we started are probably,
Actually, I was in high school.
Yeah,
I was in my junior
wow.
year of high school, and this was
I
all going
just
down, which was also being canceled after the election that year. So, one and the same. But
Wait a minute, I feel old. But
sorry.
We really wanted to just come together and create this spirit. And I think that's been my favorite thing of when you get to start something and be in the beginning of starting something, it's really fresh to you and exciting. But also over the past couple of years to be able to take a kind of a back seat and just watch and see all these women who come after me and who have the same excitement and have the same goal. It's really cool to watch and realize you're part in something.
Yeah.
I think that's something so unique and incredible about this show that at least I've witnessed, even hearing the history and seeing the history from 2017 to now. I was that high school girl getting canceled for my conservative beliefs, and later in 2020 in college, I've talked about my story on the show, but it is a place where women are able to come together and share ideas, especially when has been the rise of the feminist movement since then. And we've been able to give a voice to all of our guests and women throughout the years, and it's been a great just space for that.
It's a beautiful thing.
And I think Problematic's been really good about not putting women in a box.
Yeah.
Giving women the space to make the decisions. I think there's a huge push to either be a trad wife or like the boss lady. And I know you talked a lot to Emma recently, Emma Waters, about her new book. And I think that's part of it is women, we see so much, we feel so much, we're such empaths. And it's really hard sometimes when your life is going in one way and it's moving fast, and what do I do? Where do I fit in the world? And we never put anybody in a box. You're never
Right.
just a mom. You're never just, a career
boss.
person.
Yeah.
We really always looked at women for all of who they are. And I think if you take one lesson from this show I'll say two, is one is really leaving a legacy and kind of how ideas and the way that you make people feel matter, but also two, to give people the space to be who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that one.
We even look at the podcasting space or, video shows space of how that has changed over the last, I guess, the last decade.
Yeah.
There really hasn't been a show, I feel like, made by women, for women, talking about politics, pop culture. Like, we really have such a wide range of ideas that have been shared. And sometimes we have spicy takes with each other. And, it's just been a gift to be able to share that with everyone.
Yeah, so many incredible guests that have brought
Yes.
really unique perspectives. And I think that has been so fun to get to sit in studio with just brilliant women who have beautiful insights, many of which have really dedicated their lives to specific topics or subjects, pursuing things. And Lauren, I do want to ask you just to share a little bit about Brie Payton, who is also just one of the founders of Problematic Women and played a huge role in getting the show off the ground and really giving it a platform and a voice early on.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. For those who don't know, when we started Problematic Women, it was me and Kelsey. I was more behind the scenes. I still am more behind the scenes. I love the cameras and the technology way more than I like being on the cameras or technology. But it was our thing. But you need a co-host. And we tried. There's so many wonderful women in this building, and they were all excited, and they were great fits, but nothing that would kind of stick as somebody who we wanted to kind of build the show with.
Yeah.
So Kelsey knew Brie. She was over at the Federalist. And Brie lived locally, was writing like crazy for the Federalist, was really blowing up. And she heard of what we were doing, and she just dove in. She would spend her own money on Ubers to get here. She would just, whatever we needed, scripts, time, she was just here. And we had a great, probably year with her as part of the show. And for those who don't know, Brie Payton passed away in 2018. She, just kind of a freak, got sick. And, when something like that happens, she was healthy just a few weeks before. And you have to understand, God's providence is bigger than anything. And I think Brie understood that. She had a sense of purpose, and she had a deep sense of faith, really well beyond her years. And so, but it's hard. I mean, and she was loved by so many. And something that you don't think about is a friend who you get to know really fast, you get to do a lot of things with, to get so much of that friendship on camera and filmed and get to listen to it back and the times together. It really was a blessing, the time that I got to spend with Brie and the friends that I made around Brie's passing and the way that it brought, DC is a city of, lots of individuals and lots of people who don't necessarily connect. But I think it just shows who she was as a person, the way that when tragedy hit, she had loved and cared for so many people. And then too, I mean, most people have that experience in their lives of when they're young and somebody close to them dies, and especially someone close who's young and otherwise healthy, and it shakes you where you kind of feel like you're invincible when you're young and that nothing really bad happens, and we'll just keep at it. And so I think it shook a lot of people that way, but just the fact that she was so young and so early in her career, but the way that she was able to write and the way that she was able to speak and the way that she interacted with people shows that when you live your life and you live it well, it doesn't matter, when God calls your day or your hour, like the impact that you can still have on this world And for those who didn't listen back then, who aren't familiar with Brie or with Kelsey is doing very well. She
Mama 5.
Mama 5.
Crushing it.
I think her oldest is 6 years old, maybe almost 7.
Yeah.
I think,
At least, yeah.
So
That's awesome.
lots of littles. Her house is filled with joyful noise. I'm sure she would laugh at me calling it joyful noise. But
twin boys most
yes,
recently.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
But it again, talking about the legacy, talking about the way that something can be built and the people that you interact with at a young age that kind of stay with you. Kelsey and I are still very close friends. But I would love to show a clip of something that we produced here.
Absolutely.
That I think is a nice little taste for those who don't know Kelsey or Brie.
Yeah, let's roll it.
There's something empowering about being a problematic woman.
Here's to hoping that in the new year, feminists will realize their own hypocrisy and treat independent women with the respect and dignity that they deserve.
Until then, cheers to being problematic.
So Problematic Women of 2017. I love the end. It still rings true today.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just cheers. Cheers to the beginning.
All
To
the
being
way back
problematic
to being
women.
Problematic. And I was like, wow. We were chatting earlier just about all of the women that have been a really core part of the show. Obviously, starting with yourself, Genevieve Wood, Kelsey, Brie. We have some pictures that I want to throw up on the screen just of some of these individuals that have played such a beautiful role. As Kristen Eichhammer then came on as well, and we co-hosted
Very
for
problematic,
a while.
Kristen.
After you and I spent a while co-hosting.
Yes.
Roped you in there for a while. And then Crystal Bonham obviously has been a great part of this show. Sarah Paulshire Perry was a big part for a long time. And then, of course, Elise coming on, and Morgan. Isabel Brown has been a regular on this show. So just like so many giants. And I think I love something that they've all been so different, that they have all had like this unique voice and perspective that they have brought to problematic women that is so unique. And it feels very appropriate that as we're kind of putting problematic women to bed for a season.
That's really all women want is a nap.
That's all we really want. Problematic women needs a nap, y'all. But just, I wanted to ask you all and just have us all share a little bit of the life advice that you would kind of want to leave. Yeah, we've done a lot of that on this show of asking women who have lived often a lot of life in a short period of time, who've done amazing things. Like, what is your nugget that you want the world to know, that you want other women who are aspiring, in their homes, in their careers. So if you all think about just like one nugget that you wanna drop for our audience today.
I guess I'll start going with like my niche. A lot of the girls who look up to me, my audience is primarily Gen Z women, is like your life doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Like you can't chase, like when you're looking at your dreams and what you want to do in the future, whether it's like being politically engaged on your college or high school campus, if it's like, you want to get married and have kids one day, it's like you truly can do it all in a sense, and your life doesn't end and it doesn't stop ever. And I feel like that's something that's very much ringing true in my life right now, of moving to DC, meeting my husband very quickly, and now becoming a mother. Like, I'm a Gen Z mom, and that doesn't mean I'm just going to stop talking about politics all of a sudden and go like hide. And, I talked about it with Emma last week, being like a trad wife versus the boss babe. But just like focusing on the seasons of your life, I would say, is my biggest piece of advice that I've really recognized over the last year, is just how seasonal our lives really are, and focusing in on that. And also like I guess I'll do like, that's kind of like life advice, but like political advice is like find your niche and what you're passionate about and what you want to talk about and how you want to make impact in the world. I think that's something that also has been ringing true in my life recently, is, how can us as problematic women make impact in other people's lives and make impact in society, and something that we're really passionate about, and don't just do it to do it, but do it because you love it and because you want to do it.
Yeah, I love that. Lauren, rock, paper, scissors for who goes next? Or?
I think you go. I just talk for a long time.
I want to hear it. Yes.
They're not immune to me, so like that was a big shot. So
All right. So I would say, and this isn't at all original to me, but people talk a lot about doing things afraid. And when I look back at the things that the Lord has called me to in my life, there has never been a moment of like, starting something new or taking a leap where I felt fully confident, and didn't feel fully confident quickly either. Like once you take the leap. But I also look back and I say, wow, every single time that I took a leap and I did something that felt very uncomfortable, felt very scary, like those are the things that have reaped the most fruit, that have been the most confidence building. And I just want to encourage anyone, like if there is that apprehension or if there's the fear of like, man, I don't know how this is going to work out, like the Lord meets you in crazy ways when you just kind of, when you feel his peace on something and throw caution to the wind a little bit and just jump in and do it, whether it's the job or moving to a new city or a new country, or jumping into a podcast. Literally the first time, Lauren, you asked me, hey, do you want to join Problematic Women? I said, maybe.
and I'm sure
And here you are 6 years later.
I'm sure too. It was like, do you want to join Problematic Women? And by that I meant
One episode.
Virginia, you were doing this podcast.
And you're actually going to take over.
Yeah.
But I was so like, oh my gosh, like what would I say?
Yeah.
Like I don't have a voice to like be able to speak. But it's like, gosh, what a gift and what a blessing the past 6 years have been of getting to do this. And I think a big part of enjoying that journey and that process when you're in the midst of new things and scary things is thankfulness. And that has been a theme throughout my life, but of, finding those areas where it's like, okay, even if there's a storm raging around me, what can I find that I am thankful for? And let me thank the Lord for that, because that choosing joy, because it creates instant peace, and it shifts the narrative that's running in your brain, and it actually really shifts the narrative off of you.
Yeah.
Because it's not just what can I do, how can I perform, how am I doing, but it's, man, Lord, look what you have done. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. So that's been a huge gift. Something I'm still learning.
Trusting
for sure,
the
but-
Lord with
So that's exactly what I was going to say. For me,
I'm glad I went first.
because I think, Virginia, you made such a good point of trusting God that he will tell you when to jump.
sure.
Yeah.
But I think the other side that you kind of hit on, but trusting God that his plan is wonderful.
Yeah.
And that no matter what happens, there's been so many times when it feels like the floor has been pulled out from under me, or that you feel really behind, or really, or you feel wonderful, but you look back and you realize, no, that was the season, or that was the experience that I needed to go through to get me here.
Say God is always using you and preparing you for that
Yes.
next
The
next
moment.
thing.
Yeah.
And so you just have to trust the process, but trusting God. And sometimes it is making the big move and making that big jump. But I think even if you don't have God in that process, you won't be sure, like, did I make the right decision?
Yeah.
So you just trust in God, make the best decisions, treat people kindly.
Yeah.
People, the saying is, people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And I think it's sometimes, especially in the city, it's easy to say the right things and go to the right happy hours. But sometimes just a call to a friend that you think, hey, they just might want to talk. And just really remember that having integrity, treating people well, and trusting God, you're doing the right thing. You're treating people the way that you want to be treated with the golden rule, and you're trusting God. And no matter what comes your way, you know that you're making the right decisions and you're moving in the right direction.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah. This is great.
I feel like an emo episode.
I'm like, well, maybe on, I don't know if this is a lighter note, but let's do like a rapid fire. Like, how have we seen from the time Problematic Women started? Like, 2017 feels like eons ago. The conservative movement has changed. The feminist movement has changed.
Drastically.
The fights have changed. And the media space has changed significantly. Like, how have you all seen that, just kind of that evolution, even within the role of women in the conservative movement, even how the conservative movement talks about issues of feminism.
And feminism. It's kind of crazy when you think about it because, I mean, like, granted, 2016, I was very young, but I really don't feel like there were a lot of female voices out there. I think that is one of like the biggest ways that media and politics has changed is women are just in the space and have a voice. And I remember that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get into the space and later joining this podcast is because it was like, I didn't feel like I had other older women who were like millennials or even my parents' age to like really look up to. You had the Fox News and that was about it at the time. And just seeing how it has changed so much to where now there's people like me and you guys where we are able to freely express like our political opinions and give our hot takes and combat the feminist movement from a digital perspective of just how much social media has changed the game too. Of we pull out our phones and we post a quick video about what we think about something and garnering millions of views so that we can impact other young women. I think has been one of the biggest just monumental changes that has, I think, impacted the femininity, not feminists, a lot.
Well, and you look at the Conservator, you look at EV Magazine, like all these spaces that there was just such a comment. Like I feel like we said so many times early on, it was like there's the conservative movement isn't reaching young women. The conservative movement isn't reaching young women. And it was one of the reasons why Problematic Women started, just to be a part of that. And then just in the past, I would even just say 5 years, we have watched all of a sudden it's like the conservative movement got it of like, oh yeah, like
we are talking to women.
We need to talk to young women especially, and let's do it not only just for the sake of doing it, but like, let's do it really well. And I just feel like the level of excellence that has been really, and the thoughtfulness that has been used to say, okay, let's address this really important audience. It's been beautiful to watch.
So I'm going to respectfully disagree.
Oh, okay.
For those.
It used to happen a lot more on the show.
I'm curious.
I think what Problematic Women did was take a lot of what was happening in private.
Yeah.
Of the conservative movement has its issues. Can be a boys' club, but everything can be a boys' club. But I have always known in my career women who have seen me and looked out for me. Yeah. And I think what we were trying to do is institutionalize that. And I think really what I want to make our listeners wary of is that I think it's awesome that the kind of the same institutionalism of women being empowered in a way that isn't necessarily feminist, right? But it's true. We're women. We're different. We have different desires and the different ways we see the world. But also, don't let anybody use you as a commodity or it's. We're in this world where it's all about owning the left. And can you own the left by being a woman and thinking differently? And when you take the depth out of it, right? That's what makes us special is by being women. And so. I hope that our audience takes a lesson from Problematic Women of what we've always tried to do is be a voice for women, really care about women, but we don't use women as a prop. We don't use it as, we're going to wear our pretty red dresses and we love our pretty red dresses. Like, don't get me wrong. It's important for women to feel beautiful, but we're not, the same way that the left tries to, put a man in a dress and says it's a woman, we're not doing the same thing of putting women down, boiling them down. And so it has been interesting, I think, even on the same side, the left, back when we started, I think at one point we're like following the women's march organizers around. And we do have, I can't remember, I can't remember her name, but we have a Problematic Women interview with one of the women's that we just happen to be walking around, following them around. And so I think the left's need to kind of pervert and like push men and women against one another, I think it was excelled by Trump. It did turn the whole world upside down. But what we're seeing is technology and this divisiveness is just making it move faster. But I don't think there's anything new going on. And I think what we have to do is understand the new battlefield that we're on and the new tools that we have, but don't lose that universal truth, because I just hate when it comes down to owning the left, right?
Yeah.
It's so much deeper, and it's so important to remember that we can have women-only spaces and we can have a women's-only focus, but make sure that it's deep and it's not just,
Yeah, it's not a flash in a pan
Yeah.
thing. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
I think it's recognizing the value and the principles that we're fighting for, and
Yeah.
the why.
Yeah.
Keeping the why is the number
Yeah.
one, and having that in front of us.
Sure, why?
But everything else, I mean, I think you guys are completely right that it's different in the sense of it feels so much more immediate.
Yeah.
It feels so much more
It's
there.
accessible. Yeah.
And so I think it's important to understand both, that the way that we feel and what we perceive, what you feel is real to you. There's some truth to that. But at the same time, we are part of a system and, part of history where we stand on the shoulders of women who come behind us. And it's important to remember your place kind of in the chain of things and to learn from those and to really celebrate those and remember it, because things are going to continue to change. So the more you can be grounded in that eternal, the better off you be.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's my one and only disagreement. I should have if we were going to keep going, I would have a card that I could pull out.
I object. It's so good. I mean, a part of me is like, I just want to keep talking because I don't want this to end.
Well, we have to end on a happier note. We can't end with me disagreeing.
On a happier note.
Virginia, say something nice.
Do it now. Well, okay, let's do this. There are, as we've been talking about, there's all of these amazing voices within the world of conservative media now. Let's give a shout out and maybe a show that, for our regular Problematic Women fans that are going to miss us while we're taking the nap. What's a recommendation for an awesome woman to be following, a podcast to be following? I'm going to start Emily Jashinsky.
Oh, well, that's the easy one.
Yeah, but she's so good. I think it has been fun to watch because I have watched Emily's career for a while now, and it has been so sweet to watch the influence that she has gained, because she is like the person that you see on camera. She is that as well, like behind the scenes. She's just very real and very authentic, and I think her analysis of Washington DC and of politics is fantastic. I have not seen her in a while, but I wanted to tell her I was in Georgia in a grocery store like 6 months ago, and someone was listening without headphones to her on speaker. And I was like, "Is that Emily Jashinsky?" And he's like, "Yeah, she has good takes." I was like, "Yeah, she does."
I know her. That's funny.
I love too when the boomers call in and Emily just so she just listens to them so kindly. I don't know if I could do it. Like the second boomer that would call in, I'd be like, no.
We're done here. We're done here. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say a very familiar voice on the show, but Isabel. Isabel Brown is one of my dear friends, and she has just absolutely blossomed, especially, similarly being a young mom in the city in DC, and her takes just are very biblically sound as well and come from just a lot of love, and she's very highly educated and knows what she's talking about. So I feel like Isabel's a great resource, other than going back in the archives of Problematic Women and listening to just the plethora of content that we already have made for you.
So much of it is evergreen, especially interviews.
I'm trying to think of new voices. I do want to highlight one of my favorite ever Problematic Women interviews we did was with a woman named Sue Ellen Browder. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sue Ellen Browder.
She was just she sticks with me in terms of being genuine. So she's older. She lives in, the middle of America, not doing anything new. But I'm going to give a Virginia Allen answer. And I'm going to say my favorite new media are all the Problematic Women listeners who are going to step up and fill the gap and make sure that their voice is heard in their communities.
Yeah. Amen.
Be the next, pick up the mic, be the voice.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'm not going away. I'm not going to stop on my socials. So you can also
follow Morgan.
You can follow along. I do still talk about politics on the reg.
Yes. Follow Morgan McMichael, and make sure that you are following Problematic Women on Instagram as well, because if there are announcements about the show in the future and new hosts and all of that, that will likely be released there first. And then also be following the Daily Signal. So the structure of Problematic Women is, our hosting organization is the Daily Signal. That's the news outlet. And they have multiple podcasts that are fantastic. Tony Kinnett cast. every day, 7 p.m.
Problematic, not a woman.
Yeah, very problematic. And just great reporting, great articles. Social media is from the Daily Signal accounts, great to follow to keep you informed. Of course, the Heritage Foundation is an awesome resource. They also have a slew of podcasts.
Lots of podcasts and lots of social media content.
Lots of articles.
Yes.
You can stay so informed.
Yes.
Yes.
No shortage.
Is this where I give your personal cell phone number so people want?
Just like,
I can
hey,
just call
keep in
you
touch with me. But I think we need to do a final toast to
Problematic women.
To problematic women.
Problematic women.
May we know them. May we be them. May we raise them.
Amen.
Cheers.
To problematic
Cheers.
women. And until next time, guys, thank you for being a part of the show. It has been our absolute honor to do it these past almost a decade. So cheers. Until next time.